Now, here's the real evidence of Turning Point USA that they don't want you to know.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. He's dead. God help him.
Shame on you for criticizing Terryl for his reaction. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you're still subscribed to this channel. Let's get into this. Every time you watch me, when I talk about a police shooting, when I talk about any of these things, I make sure that I do my due diligence first. And I rule out all the stuff first before I present it to you. It makes no sense for me to say, what if the what if was a what if when the what if before the what if was what if? And then get you all riled up. And you know what? Wait till my next show. Wait till the next clip. Wait till the next post. I know all the tea, but I don't want to tell you all the tea now because I want to keep making money off of you. So I'm going to drip it and drip to the end. So let's talk about Terryl. Now they put his name out there. I'm going to call his name. Terryl is one of the nicest, coolest, faithful guys that I have ever met in my life. I've been working with Terryl since I first started Turning Point. When he first started, I have done probably 20 or 30 events with Terryl. When I was going on tour for the last 2 years on all these college campuses, many of them Terryl was there. And Terryl set up the tent. He put on my lapel mic. He monitored the cameras. And he endured for 3 hours every time, listening to people that say the craziest things you could ever think you can hear of. He did the same thing with Charlie. Terryl is a good dude. And they now are using him to make money and get you all riled up. Terryl never released this video publicly. That was his own personal video that he decided to make when the rubber hit the road. His friend died in front of him. And one of the things that came to his mind was probably recording his last recording ever, because he don't know if somebody's going to come and do a rampage. Everybody's running. There's shots fired. We don't know if there's multiple assailants. And Terryl decided to do this. Terryl will never portray Charlie Kirk. I will put my life on Terryl. I can't name these other people. I don't know. If I don't know whether you would you'll betray Charlie or not, I can't speak for you. But I know Terryl. He would never betray Charlie. He's not a combat veteran. So, of course, he's going to do things that now, in hindsight, some people think is mysterious. When they say he stepped on the chair and he took down the cameras, you put your thinking cap on real quick. The shooting has been over for a period of time now. Now you see some of the FBI agents are showing up. He's taken down. Would you want him to leave it up there in perpetuity? He take it down, give it over to the FBI. But let's play this clip real quick of Terryl that people are now blasting him over, because I'm going to defend him to no end. And I don't care if you like it or not, to be honest. I'm going to stand by. I'm a loyal person. I'm going to stand by people that I can vouch for. Roll the clip.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. He's dead. God help him.
Shame on you. I'm looking at you. Shame on you for criticizing Terryl for his reaction. Were you there? Did you witness Charlie die in front of you? And I don't want to hear nobody say, he prematurely said, did you see the video? My team saw the video the day it happened. I didn't see it. I was on the live stream praying because I saw the one at a distance. They watched it, and it popped up over here, and they go, oh, no. Oh, my God. I said, don't show it to me because I actually cared about Charlie. It hurt me. I cried on my live stream. My wife, nobody's ever seen me cry before. I cried on my live stream because I love Charlie, and I didn't want to see him die. But I knew that something was bad when they gave the reaction right over here. And when I later watched the close-up video, I said, there's no way he lived through that. He died instantly. And now the medical examiner and all the reports have come out. Yeah, he died instantly. It severed his spinal cord. He got a pulse at the hospital, but he had already it was not connected. So the pulse was, they got the heart beating again because it's electrical. But it was no purpose of the heart beating because the brain wasn't connected to the body. It severed all of that. And me being a person who know something about ballistics, it don't matter if it was a 5.56 or a 308 or a 30-06. When you get shot in the neck like that, the cavity that it creates is everything is eviscerated of the size of my fist through Charlie's neck. There's no way he survived that. Imagine watching it in person and seeing blood come out of his neck and his body stiff and his eyes roll back. Tero knew he was gone. You didn't know because you wasn't there. I'm watching his real reaction of fear, anxiety, stress. He don't know what to do. What would you do? Oh, you wasn't there. Oh, you've never been in a situation like this before. I've seen cops act like this at a crime scene that we've done 5 or 6 times already. But it's cute for you to judge behind your TV screen, behind your cell phone, in your mama base, wherever y'all doing y'all thing at, than to have a heart for this man. Your reaction should be, dang. Like when I just looked at this, I'm like, my heart broke for him because I know him. And I know how much he loved Charlie. You foolish person that will judge him in that way. So if you want to participate, get you one of these shirts or one of these merch items, and your purchase will go towards the Kirk family. A lot of people say, well, they already rich. I'm pretty sure Charlie Kirk was a multimillionaire. But one thing that you guys don't realize is that once you are done with your life and you can't bring in income anymore, that's detrimental to a person's family. Charlie Kirk had a show that was tremendously successful. It's a dog-eat-dog world. They're not finna keep his show going. They're gonna cut his show after probably another week or so, and they're gonna put somebody else in that spot. You're talking millions of dollars coming into his family that's no longer there. Unrealized gains. Charlie Kirk probably would have wrote 40 more books. Charlie Kirk should have lived another 50 years. And his children and his wife are not going to have that unrealized gain from Charlie Kirk's legacy moving forward. So this is a contributing option for us that love him, that really love him, and that care about his family. This is a way that you can do it. Go to tatumstore.com, tatumstore.com. Let's go to Mikey. I didn't know Mikey as well. I knew Rob. I didn't know Mikey as well. But every time I saw the kid, he's an innocent, friendly, go-lucky kid. If any of these guys were confronted in a fist fight, they probably would freeze up. They not built for this stuff. These guys are not tactical like his team. They're not ready for this. I think we got a closer clip. Remember the one that I said that I didn't like the guy's commentary? Did we get that one? Because I want to play that one because it's a closer look at Mikey, because right here you can't really see Mikey because he's up under the tent. But in the one that we're gonna put together for you, it's a close view of Mikey, and you can see Mikey looking at Charlie, and you can see Charlie get shot, and you can see Mikey do like this while he's looking at Charlie, and Charlie tumbles over the thing and he goes behind the tent. And I got evidence and facts about when he actually called Erica and when he called his dad, because Turning Point USA came out and Andrew did a post, or they did a live show on Charlie's show where they explained the moment in which he called Erica and the moment that he called his dad, Rob McCoy.
And I can't even remember those moments very clearly. I wasn't even there. Mikey was two
Mikey's
steps
talked
away,
about that.
And I asked him, I was like, do you even remember the moments after? He's like, I can't even really remember. I know I called Erica. I know I called my wife. I know I called my dad. I can't even really remember the steps I took. I can't. But here's the last thing I want to make a point of. And Charlie, because Charlie had given me similar instructions along the years, said if anything ever happens to me, you call Erica.
Yeah,
that's
the other
thing. And he drilled that into Mikey's brain so that when this moment of trauma happened, that he turned around and he knew he had to do it. And by the way, last thing, because this is part of the video allegations here, is that they think they're alleging that he was on the phone immediately. He was not. He was taking social videos, which he would send to our group chat, which we would then put on Charlie's social while the event was happening, so you could see like the crowd come in or his interactions. And we were only 2 questions into this event, so he was still getting it out to all the chats he needed to do, which he did at every event. He turns around, and it was so blaringly loud, I'm told. You would know this better than I, but this is what I'm told. It was so blaringly loud, and he was so shell-shocked. He put his fingers in his ear, but his phone was still in his hand. He walks away, and he's...
not even walk. I want to... Because people are talking about that. The way it was is we had a cordoned-off area with grates, so you had controlled access. All the people, when this happens, they all get the idea we should leave before we are shot. And so there's a little narrow gap that I think... people, it's not really walking, it's that everyone has to slow up to get through this little narrow choke point to get out of the area. And
anyways, well, the point is he walks briskly. I don't even care if he's walking, running, whatever, because again, the most traumatic thing you could imagine had just happened to him. My brain fried. I cannot imagine what was going through your guys' head being on the scene and seeing it and knowing, again, the security guys are jumping in. He turns and like I'm telling you, Mikey that day turned into a general on a field, marshaling the troops going. But like for a second there, obviously he didn't know what to do, and then he clicked into gear eventually. It was amazing.
Mikey was a heroic figure on that day, and I really want anyone who finds like these narratives attacking him to be remotely credible to really, really stop and think about what you are doing, because what you are doing is bad and it is gross and it is a choice, and it's a choice you shouldn't make.
And it debunks, it unless you silly and you just want to believe anything you read because you like the person or the people or whoever is talking about it. This is a clear indication or debunking of somebody saying he didn't see Charlie die and that he somehow got on the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no way in the world that right after Charlie gets shot, he somehow go call somebody on the phone and talk to him. Right after he got shot, it didn't happen. When he was in the parking lot down the road, past Charlie's vehicle, he probably made a phone call, which was verified from the guy that was on Charlie Kirk's show just recently. Here's other rumors and people saying his team is stumbling over the crime scene. Roll the clip real quick. Pause it. Let's talk about crime scene for a minute. Some of you guys are watching CSI and you don't know what a crime scene is. Now, the crime scene, the majority of the crime scene is where the guy took the shot at. Him going up and down the stairs, taking DNA from the staircase and taking shoe impressions from the ground. That is majority of the crime scene and evidence. Charlie getting shot in the neck, the only evidence there will be the cameras and it'll be Charlie's person because there is no exit wound. So Charlie's person and the cameras is the only crime scene preservation that you would need in a crime scene like this. You don't need his chair. The chair is not a part of the crime scene. It has blood on it. That's not that they're not going and taking blood samples from a chair. The only thing that could have been afoot in this situation would be the cameras that showed evidence of what happened and Charlie Kirk's person. Everything else is irrelevant to walk through grass. This is not a crime scene. If somebody steps over the crime scene, it's not a crime scene. Or stepping over grass and the table with the hats, that's not a crime scene. And there's no real preservation in stepping on grass. Just so you guys know, there's no evidence that they took from the grass. Maybe they looked for an exit wound. They knew immediately there was no exit wound, so they weren't looking for a bullet. And maybe they canvassed the area. But at the same time, when things are happening instantaneously, there's going to be people that walk around the crime scene anyway. It just like when a guy goes into a church and starts shooting random people, everybody's running and scrambling and picking up their kids, and the kid is a crime scene. You still take the kid and you take him to safety, you take him to the hospital. All of that stuff can be considered mobile crime scene, and it doesn't mean you're destroying a crime scene because you take your kid to safety or do CPR on a person. Now you're contaminating the person. But let's go back to the clip because we got it available. Clip 602. 602. It is? It zooms in? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go with it. They had it already. It was my fault. Go to clip. I think there's going to be a part here that zooms in. So, okay. All right, I think it gets closer. He's holding his...
All right. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
He looks at him. He see, Charlie gets shot. Look at Mikey. Mikey looks over at him, and Mikey's going like this. Walks behind the tent like this. Mikey's not on the phone somehow mysteriously dialing somebody up. He goes way back there probably before he gets on the phone to call. And people say, all right, I think that's good. People say he abandoned Charlie. What are you supposed to do? Get on top of Charlie and do CPR? They got a team of people that are there to protect Charlie and to render aid to Charlie and to excavate Charlie or take him to the car and take him to the hospital. It's not your place to jump in the middle of what the professionals are supposed to be doing. They talk about this all the time. I guarantee you. If anything happened to Charlie, we're going to get on Charlie. Let us do our business. They're the ones that got guns. They're the ones that are going to protect him. They're the ones that are going to protect him from follow-up shooters. It's not Mikey or not Terryl or none of the video guys. Get out of the way. The guy from Y-Refi, and you can go back and look at this because people don't understand what they're looking at. They see a guy come in, they go, look, he passed off something to him. That guy wasn't even on the security team. That was a guy from Y-Refi, which is one of their sponsors. He probably came in to try to see if he could help, and they like, get out the way, dude. We got this. Go to the car. Go do something there. We're going to take care of Charlie here. And the reason that I want to point these things out, because you got people online trying to act like something is something that's not nothing. Now, this is the question that you should ask the people when you go on their social media platforms and ask them what they're saying. You go, okay, if he did call immediately, what are you accusing him of? What are you accusing Mikey of? That he was terrified? That he was scared? That he followed protocol from the security team? That he ran off somewhere and called somebody on the phone? What is that a crime? Does that mean he had anything to do with Charlie getting shot? What are you accusing Tero of? Because Tero goes behind a building, uploads a video that he never put online, and never meant for anybody to see, was his own personal video. Well, what are you accusing him of? What's the accusation? He made that video because he really didn't believe Charlie was dead. Like, what are you saying? He prematurely said Charlie was dead. Are you saying that he did that on purpose? What are you saying? Like, you can't just come out and say, these people are suspicious. You have to articulate what is the suspicion that you're accusing them of doing. Freaking out when somebody got killed in front of them? Is that? Let me tell you why people are disingenuous. If you really cared and you really wanted to know why they reacted that way, what I would do, a person acting in good faith, I would interview a psychologist, a person who understands human behavior. So before I put it out to the audience that all of this is weird, I would invite somebody on to talk about the stress psychologically that goes on when people see things that are traumatic. And then therefore I will put it in context for you. So then you have the context around why people may act a certain way after a shooting. And then you can make your own decision. I won't say unilaterally as somebody that don't understand psychology to just say, that's suspicious. That's weird. That's bizarre. Why would he act like that? No, bring an expert on to explain why he would act like that. I have seen people, the lady, I'm going to give y'all 3 examples of where people flipped out to no end. On the freeway, I-19, I go to a call. Two guys racing each other, one on the motorcycle, one in the car. The guy on the motorcycle gets clipped. He fall off the motorcycle at 90 miles per hour. He gets run over by 3 cars. The last person that ran him over ran his head over. And, of course, you know what happened with that. The woman who ran him over was hysterical on the side of the road. She could not speak. She was crying. She couldn't talk. She couldn't dial 911. She couldn't think. She couldn't think. She was distraught. You go to the underpass at Grant and I-10, a guy was going to work. He was a security guard. A drunk driver plowed into him head on, killed him instantly. Well, it was killing him because he died slowly in front of the witness. I checked his pulse. He was dead by the time I got there, which was like 2 minutes. But the witness that saw him, that was watching him beg for his life before he eventually expired, was inconsolable. She couldn't even talk straight on a 911 call. We had no idea what she was talking about because she couldn't talk. And she had nothing to do with the accident. She just witnessed the guy die in front of her. I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, there's a lot more. But when you witness something that's traumatizing, it scars you and your body reacts to it where you can't control what you do and say and what you think. A lot of times people don't even remember what happened for 48, 72 hours after an incident like this. They don't even remember what they did. It's all fight or flight, autopilot, human reaction that they can't even control most of the time. You ask a person in the traumatic, and everybody in this live stream that have ever had anything traumatic happen to them, you know what I'm talking about. Why am I so confident? Because when I was on the SWAT team, they brought in psychologists who would talk to us about the way the brain works. So when we go and we do certain stuff in training, we understand that the brain is tricky. We had a scenario on the SWAT team where we enter the room and they put a gun on the table. Like 60% of the people never saw that gun. Matter of fact, not only did they not see the gun, they looked at the table and they say the gun wasn't on the table. Why does that happen to the human brain? Under stress, your brain would omit things to preserve your life because the threat is the person in front of you that you have to shoot in that scenario when we entered the house. The gun is irrelevant to the threat level. So your brain will omit the gun off of the table. Your brain saw a table with no gun on it because your mind began to play tricks on you because it's trying to save your life. That's why when people come out and they go, it was all in slow motion. That's because your brain have the capacity to rapidly process information. Your brain don't normally operate like that. So it rapidly processes information so that you can form methodical movements under stress, uncontrollable to you. And this is why people have these weird experiences. This is why investigators don't interview people on the spot a lot of the times, or they interview you and then they follow up and interview you a couple days later, because then your memory comes back. Then you begin to smell and see things and you begin to remember what you did, how you reacted. Most people in the traumatic situations, they watch the video of what they did, they wouldn't even believe they did it. I did that. I ran all the way over there. It looked like I just walked. I ran. I covered my ears and I turned away from it. I don't even remember none of that. I put my life on it that Mikey, at least when it first happened, he didn't remember none of that. I bet you almost any money that's in my bank account right now that Terryl didn't quite remember everything that happened. He probably don't remember how he got his phone out. He probably barely remembered that he recorded that. I'm telling you, it happened to me one time when I was fighting a guy. He had cut his throat from here to here. He had glass in his hand. He attacked me at the front door, and then I gave him that work. But while I was giving him the work, I have no idea that I pulled out my pepper spray and I sprayed him. I would never use my pepper spray. We all know never uses pepper spray because everybody get doused with it, and we all got doused with it. But for some reason, I got it out of the clip, got it, and sprayed the guy and put it back in. And I could not explain why I did it or how I did it. It was training that took over when I did it. Now, if you really care about Charlie, if you really care about the people that you knew, you like, you work with, why wouldn't you get a psychologist on to explain the mental stress that people do and why they react the way they do? But instead, people rather get you riled up and create conspiracies in your mind. Why don't you interview somebody that's a former FBI agent that's not associated with the FBI? Frank Turek did, and I'm going to interview the same guy he interviewed, because the guy goes and tells you protocol. This is why we can't tell you this. We're not hiding anything from you. We're not trying to lie to you. It's just that during the investigation, there's certain things we cannot say to you, even if we wanted to. Now, when you go out and make a statement, and this is for anybody that does this, if you're acting in good faith and you're trying to get information from Turning Point USA or anybody else that's a witness, you know they can't talk to you because they have a gag order. Anybody that's a material witness in this case has a gag order. So you have been court ordered to not disclose or say anything about the case to anybody that's not a detective or anybody that's not associated with the court that you've gotten approval to. So when you go out on a limb and you go, why are they not disclosing anything? Why is Turning Point being secretive? Why are they not sure? If you know what happened, why don't you just come out and say it? Because there's a gag order. You want people to violate the gag order and go to jail because somebody wants instantaneous glorification for their own personal endeavor? Instead, you need to wait on the trial. And when the trial occurs and you see all the evidence that the FBI has or they don't have, you get all of their witnesses cross-examined by the defense. And when there's a conclusion made, then you can go back and say, oh, wait a minute. You didn't have real information, or you lied or didn't lie, or you omitted. That's when you go through and say these things. People are asking me, Brandon, why are you not asking questions? What question you want me to ask? I don't have text messages. I don't have DNA evidence. I wasn't at the crime scene. I didn't go door to door asking people for their Ring cameras. I didn't review any Ring camera evidence. I didn't talk to Robinson. The FBI talked to him. I didn't talk to him. I didn't interview his mama. I didn't interview his dad. I didn't interview the transgender person. I didn't interview any of these people. I don't know what they actually said. We only get a glimpse of what may have been put out on social media, and some of it is lies. But when you didn't talk to these people, how do you make a judgment of whether or not it's true or not? And how do you know this, Brandon? Because I've done plenty of investigations, and I know for a fact we don't tell the public everything because we can't. We are preparing to prosecute a person for one of the most egregious crimes that have happened in our lifetime, my age demographic. We're not worried about you getting views on your social media account. And for people to jump to the conclusion to say he didn't do it, he didn't do it. He confessed to his parents that he did it. They turned him in. His parents turned him in. Do we not? Are we forgetting that happened? I'm just throwing it out there. Are we acting as if his parents did not turn him in? The cops did not find him. The cops did not find him. They put a picture out. Mama said, that's my son on that picture. Mama called dad and confirmed and said, that's our son. And they didn't call I don't think they communicated to police initially. They communicated with him. And according to them, he wanted to take his own life. And his dad said, don't do it. Come home. We'll deal with this together. He comes home, which is what they told the FBI. He calls his neighbor, who then called the sheriff, who the sheriff said on national TV and verified this, that he would turn himself in, but he did not want the SWAT team to come to the house. So they coordinated an effort for him to turn himself in with his parents and a sheriff deputy, admitting that he did it. Now, there's a difference between admitting that you committed a crime and filing not guilty in a court of law. That's two different things. You can be guilty. You can confess. And you can say, I plead not guilty in the court of law. Why would a person plead not guilty even though they know they did it? It's the same reason why a person would defend a person that they know did it because it's a job. They don't want him to get the death penalty. I think his family don't want him to get the death penalty. This is why they plead not guilty. Let me give you another example for the people who actually care about this. Why do you think the defense is saying we don't want cameras in the courtroom? Why? If he's innocent, now his defense has not come out in public and said he was innocent. They've not said whatsoever that he's getting framed, that he's innocent, and that any of this. His defense team has not said any of that. They have not held a press conference and said our client is being mistreated. The FBI, they haven't said any of that. You know why? Because they probably know he did it. But they need to defend him and humanize him. So they say, we don't want cameras, which was denied. The cameras will be in the courtroom. They say, we want him to be able to dress in regular civilian clothes. Why? Because they want him to be presentable as human to the jurors. Then they requested, don't show him entering and exiting from the trial, because they want to humanize him publicly. Because then when they go for that death penalty, the public is going to be against the death penalty of a guy that they humanized and made him out to be a normal person. If he's in a jumpsuit with shackles, which the judge granted that they won't show or they won't film him being in shackles, although they will have him handcuffed. That's why the defense wanted that to be, because they need him to be normal. They're not trying to get him off. They need him to be considered to be normal so that people can, so they can get a fair trial. That's not abnormal for a defense to do that when that's your objective. There is a mountain of evidence against him. And I would argue, if you really cared about justice for Charlie Kirk, then you can have your conspiracies, but also at some point you need to address the fact that he may have done this. Why is there no podcasts, video series, people coming out explaining why he could have done this? There's so much evidence against this guy that if they did not find the bullet, he would go to prison for the rest of his life, for sure. If they didn't find any bullet in Charlie Kirk, he would go to prison for the rest of his life because of all of the circumstantial evidence. When your mother identifies you on a call, from a photo that's grainy, and you gotta think, the FBI they said 15,000 leads. Like 2 or 3 days after Charlie died. They're gonna put all these leads together and say, out of all this, there's one family that said this was my son. They got DNA on the trigger, DNA on the ammo. They got him jumping off the building, shoe impressions of a shoe that he owned. DNA, a palm impression when he landed on the ground, the palm that matched his palm. So the person you see jumping off the building had a palm impression that they have submitted as evidence that matches his palm. They got him running through the community. They got him ditching a gun. They got him communicating on Discord. They got him communicating with the tranny. They interviewed the transgender person. What do you think the transgender person said to them? You think the transgender person said he didn't do it? It was a fake text message. You think that's what he said? That's not what they wrote in the affidavit. When you write in a probable cause statement in an affidavit and any of what you said is wrong, they throw the case out. So FBI agents are not going to write something in the affidavit that's not true. They will omit it. They said in the affidavit that the person confessed to them that Robinson wrote the message to him, the tranny. And that he also told her, go under the keyboard and get the note that I have. And yet, you got people that spend more time questioning his team than actually questioning Robinson. It's crazy to me. And people don't watch me say this, right? But if I was questioning and lying about it, y'all be watching me to no end. I'll be rich too. I go buy me another car. I go buy me a Bentley Bentayga. Man, Rolls Royce. I like that Spectra. I go buy a Spectra, pimping y'all out online. If I wasn't acting in good faith, do you not think I want justice for Charlie Kirk? You think I'm sitting on here and the killer is free? right? They're going to come kill me one day. And I'm cool with that, right? We cool with the killer of Charlie Kirk being free. We just going to let him go. But we happy they got an innocent kid that didn't do nothing while the killer is still out here plotting to kill one of us. You think we think that makes sense?